Hello friends, this is Yasir and this video I'm gonna show you how to use Redux with a simple and very easy example. That example is about a counter. So let's start. Simply I go to my Visual Code Studio and here is my basic code. I simply add a folder here. In the folder, name it src and create a file here counter.js. Okay, now simply I add some dependencies from here, copy, paste here, and just change the name of this file counter. Copy this, paste this. Okay, now I add something inside this return folder and inside this view I add two buttons. First of all, I import buttons from here, button. Okay, I add here a button and give title to this button. Title is equal to add count. After that I add a text and this is counter by default, and simply add another button. Subtract count. Okay, and simply add here and on res is equal to a null value. If you want to add an alert here, you also do this. I simply give a null value on this on press. Simply save this and give styling to this view. Simply add style is equal to flex 1, justify content center, and align item center. That's it. Now just call this counter file here. Simply I import that file, give it a name. I give it a name is counter and from, give path of that folder src, after that counter, save here, and simply call that file from here, counter. That's it. Simply run this project and react native, run Android. And you can see our app installed successfully. Something shown in my screen, and that is a counter. That is because I didn't give styling here. Simply add a styling flex to 1, and here we go. Two buttons, and inside two buttons a counter is shown in my screen. Now let's use Redux to add in the counter and also subtract in the counter. So simply create a folder in the src folder, name it store, and inside the store I have to create 4 files. First one is action type.js, that's shown our action types. After that I have to add the file name action.js, then reducer.js, and last but not least store.js. So let's start. First of all, I have to add something in action type. So we are using two types, add and subtract. That's why I add here two commands. Simply export two functions, name const addition 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 is equal to addition, my first type, that is addition, and my second type is export const subtraction, subtraction. Copy paste and paste it here. So here are our two action types, addition and subtraction. After that, simply go to action folder, and in action folder I have to use these two functions or these two types as an action to perform something, to perform an action. So simply import that two things, addition and subtraction. Addition and subtraction. What if I use capital letter only? Subtraction, copy and paste it here, and also paste it here. From give a path here, that is action type. So I simply import these two functions from action type. Okay, and now I have to add something for these two functions, which I called from my previous screen. Export const, as I added here, and simply add addition and an arrow function here. Type addition, and same for subtraction. Simply copy this and paste it here, and just change the keywords. Subtraction. So in this screen, this is enough code for our project. In my previous screen, I only export two functions, addition and subtraction. After that, I import those functions from action type and use it in these functions. After that, I move to my third screen, that is reducer, and in reducer I again call these functions in my reducer file. So I copy this from here to here. The path will be same because all these files are in the same folder. The folder name is store. After that, simply add an initial state, const initial state is equal to counter 0, and then add a switch function inside my core function, and let's give a name of that core function. We use here main reducer. Main reducer is equal to an arrow function, and inside this arrow function I use switch. This is the structure of my switch statement. Give here an action type, and I use here action type. For using action type, I have to use a variable called the type of action. For that, simply add here an initial state, and my state is equal to initial state. This means state is equal to 0 because in this initial state our counter is 0, and after that I added an action keyword. Through the help of this action keyword, I call here a type action dot type, and the type is this action we get from here. Okay, and this is the type. Simply action type and case name is addition, and I return here return dot state. These three dots mean I use this state and this state use initial state. Okay, this means I use the all props inside this initial state. Okay, so after that I also add counter state is this dot counter state, it means initial state, then go to counter and add 1 to that counter. Simply add semicolon, sorry, this is terminator. After that simply copy this case and paste it here for subtraction. For subtraction, same code, only change in here. Simply add -1 here. Okay, and the default state is return my default state, and that is counter, because this state call this and this go to this and this go to this. This is just like an hierarchy, and I complete my code in reducer file successfully. After that I go to my last file inside the store, and that is also a store, and inside the store you have to import 2 files from Redux. For that simply you have to add 2 dependencies from Redux. So simply for that go to Chrome and write here Redux npm store. Open first link, and this is not good. This is the exact dependency we want for our Redux file. I already installed this. You have to copy this from here and paste it here, just like this. I already installed this. You can see in my package.json, as you can see in here. These 2 dependencies add through Redux. After that go to store.js, and inside store.js file you have to import 2 things, that is import from Redux and that is create store. This is the core thing you have to embed from Redux. Okay, and after that you have to import something from reducer, my reducer file, and that is this function named here, and simply export a function name store is equal to create store, wrap it, and inside this parenthesis write name reducer. That's it. As you can see, first of all I go to action type, and here I define the actions addition and subtraction. After that I move to action. I get those action types from action type file and use it inside my function and give the proper type to the addition and subtraction. After this I move to reducer file. Again I use action type, and firstly I add initial state for my counter, that is 0, and after that I add a main function, and inside this main function first of all I add state and give initial state value to this state. And after that I add a keyword, that is action. This is basically a parameter. After that I use this action keyword or call my types, and that types are here addition and subtraction. And after this reducer I move to store, and in store I use this keyword to call my previous screen or my previous file, that is reducer. As you see, all files are linked. Basically these 4 files are used for Redux. Action type, action reducer and store. After that, let's move to my code, and that is inside the app and inside the counter. So I close all this. First of all, I go to my app.js and add something here. Simply wrap my counter with provider, and that provider I get from Redux. This is a built-in function. Simply import from Redux. So just wrap my counter with provider, and here I add store where my all data stored. I know in my scenario, not my all data add in store. In my all data basically store in reducer, but in this file, but in store I wrap this reducer inside the create store. That's why I add here store is equal to store. Okay, save it, and after that go to my counter screen. Now this is the core screen where I have to work. Use here, use it, and inside this main function simply add con data is equal to use selector state arrow state dot counter is capital C small here, and after that I add dispatch is equal to use dispatch function. This is also a built-in function, but I have to call it through Redux as I called it here. Let's use these functions inside my code. So go to my onPress function and simply add here void function and dispatch addition function, and simply add here also subtraction function. That functions is addition and subtraction that we call from here addition. Okay, after that I add type addition that move to reducer here. Okay, and here is a type that is addition, and if I click on addition button then this work, and if I click on subtraction button then this work. So simply save this file and save it too, and so my project is completed. Let me review it first. This is my action, this is my app.js folder, and here is store and store. Oops, I forgot to import my store file. Simply import store from src and store and then store. Okay, that's good. And in my counter file, okay, my file is okay, but here is a small mistake, but I have to change it after running the project. So let's run my project. Simply add here npx react native run android, and you can see my project is running in my mobile phone. So what is missing? That is inside counter the value of counter does not update because I didn't call here anything. Simply here I add data, and that came from here. Okay, save my project, and here is my initial value, and that is 0. Where this value came? This value basically came from here, my initial state. And I previously showed you how these four files connect with each other. Okay, now let's press something. Simply I press add button, and here is an error, that is cannot find variable. That error occurred because we didn't call these two functions from anything. Simply add here import addition and subtraction from store and action, and let's save it again and press the button. Yes, our project is running successfully. Let's subtract it. Yes, our subtraction also worked. Let's go to my main file, that is basically a flow of my project. So in my project I first of all add this file action.type.js, and up here in this file I only add addition and subtraction export functions. After that I add action file, and in action file I call the action types from action type.js file. After that I use reducer, and inside the reducer I use a switch statement, and in last I use app.js and counter file to call all these things. Here I miss a file, that is store, that help me to wrap this reducer file in that folder. So this is Redux. I hope you understand the concept of Redux. Thank you for today's video.